In the village where palm trees stood like witnesses and red earth remembered every footstep, Chief Ogenikaro Efevodo was known as a powerful man, not because he was kind, not because he was gentle, but because he had everything a man was supposed to have: land, titles, wives, children, everything except one thing: a son. For years, that absence followed him like a shadow. My name is Patience, and this story is not about wealth or power or even love. It is about what it means to be the only son. Chief Ogenikaro was a big man, heavy in body and voice. When he spoke, people listened. When he walked, younger men stepped aside. He wore wrappers tied firmly around his waist, his chest often bare, coral beads resting proudly on his neck. In the village square, elders called him Chief. At home, his wives called him my husband. But inside his heart, there was a silence that never left. He had married 7 wives. 7. The village watched each marriage with hope, each pregnancy with expectation, and each birth with disappointment. A girl, another girl, again and again. His compound filled with daughters, girls running barefoot in the sand, girls fetching water, girls pounding yam, girls laughing, crying, growing. The first wife gave him daughters. The second wife gave him daughters. The third wife gave him daughters. One wife gave him 5 daughters alone. By the time the 7th wife arrived, people had stopped whispering. They started saying it out loud. This thing is a curse. Chief Ogenikaro heard it all. He pretended he did not care. But every time another daughter was born, his shoulders dropped just a little. In that land, a man without a son was a man whose name could disappear. Daughters would marry and leave, land would move to another family, titles would pass to cousins, and a chief's name could die quietly. That fear ate him slowly. His first wife, Esse, suffered the most. She was the one he married with love, not strategy. When she came into the compound, she was young and hopeful. She gave him 3 daughters, spaced across many years. After the 3rd, her womb went silent. Years passed. The chief waited. Nothing happened. That was when he married the 2nd wife, then the 3rd, then the 4th. Esse watched her husband fill the compound with women, each one brought in because she could not give him a son. By the time the 7th wife arrived, Esse was already tired. Then one night, when hope had almost died, she fell pregnant again. The village did not celebrate. They had seen this before. But this pregnancy was different. Esse was older. Her body struggled. She grew thinner. She prayed quietly. She spoke to her unborn child when nobody was watching. When labor came, it came like a storm. Women gathered. Midwives shouted instructions. The chief waited outside, pacing, sweating. Then the cry came. Not soft, not gentle, a loud, angry cry. A boy! For a moment, the compound froze. Then celebration exploded. Drums, shouts, dancing. Chief Ogenikaro fell to his knees. He did not care who saw him. Tears ran down his face. He lifted his hands to the sky and spoke words only he and God could hear. But joy did not last long. Esse did not survive the childbirth. By the time the chief was holding his son, the woman who gave him that son was already gone. Life had taken payment. They named the boy Akpovona, the only son. From that day, everything changed. The compound that once treated children equally now bent around one child. Akpovona grew up surrounded by women, sisters, half-sisters, stepmothers, but he stood apart from all of them. He was protected, watched, feared. Some wives smiled at him in the daytime. Some looked at him with quiet hatred at night. There were whispers, poison mixed in food, sharp objects left where a crawling child could reach, strange sicknesses that came and went suddenly. The chief noticed. He tightened security. He assigned trusted women to watch the boy. He warned everyone, "This boy is my life." Akpovona survived. He grew thin but strong, quiet but observant. Growing up among women taught him something early. People could love you and resent you at the same time. Unlike his sisters, Akpovona's path was clear. While the girls were trained until secondary school, until WAC, and then prepared for marriage, Akpovona was given everything: private lessons, books, opportunities. Even in secondary school, his intelligence stood out. He earned a scholarship. Teachers spoke his name with pride. When he entered a federal university, the village celebrated like he had already graduated. By his second year, 200 level, Akpovona started making money, real money. Nothing illegal, nothing loud. He found opportunity where others saw normal things. A small business that grew quietly, deals that multiplied, connections that worked. By the time he graduated, he was already richer. By the time he finished NYSC, he was richer. When he went abroad for his master's degree on scholarship, his father's name had already returned to power. Akpovona built a mansion for the chief in the village, bought cars, took care of the family. The same women who once wished him dead now praised him openly. But Akpovona never forgot. When his father grew older, the urgency returned. "I want to see your wife," the chief said one evening, his voice weaker now. "I want to bless you before I go." That pressure followed Akpovona everywhere. Akpovona did not rush love. He had seen too much of it fail. In his father's compound, love was never simple. Wives smiled in public and fought in private. Sisters shared laughter and shared jealousy in the same breath. People could sit beside you, eat with you, and still wish you gone. So when Akpovona left the village for the city, he carried caution with him. Money came early for him, but pride did not. He lived simply, drove a car that looked ordinary, wore clothes that did not announce wealth. Anyone watching from afar would never guess what sat quietly in his accounts. That was intentional. He wanted to meet women as Akpovona, not as money. He started dating seriously during university, not because he was desperate, but because he wanted to understand. He went on dates that began with smiles and ended with disappointment. One woman talked endlessly about social media couples. "Did you see that video?" she asked, scrolling her phone. "This man surprised his girlfriend with a trip to Dubai. That's how love should be." Akpovona nodded politely. She did not ask him anything about himself. Another woman arrived late to a date, sat down, and immediately started choosing food. "This one is small," she said, pointing at the menu. "I like this one." When the food arrived, she took pictures first. When the bill came, she slid it toward him without looking. Akpovona pushed it back gently. "We came to talk," he said, "not to shop." Her face hardened. "So what kind of man are you?" she asked. He stood up and left. Some dates were quieter. One woman spoke softly, laughed easily, and listened. Akpovona liked her, until she asked casually, "So when will you move me to a better apartment?" They had been on 2 dates. He smiled and changed the topic. There was always something: expectation, comparison, pressure. He noticed a pattern. Many women did not ask who he was, they asked what he could do. And whenever a woman compared him to another man, something inside him closed. He did not blame them entirely. Society had taught them that love was measured in gifts, not presents. Still, it hurt. When his father called him back to the village one evening, Akpovona knew the conversation before it started. "You are not young forever," the chief said, sitting under the mango tree. "I want to see your wife." Akpovona remained silent. "I don't want stories," the old man continued. "I want peace." That word stayed with him. Peace. Akpovona wanted peace too, but he also wanted truth. He met Anita on a quiet evening. Not at a party, not through friends, just conversation. She did not ask about money, she talked about work, about life, about small dreams. They laughed easily. Akpovona relaxed. They dated slowly. Coffee, short drives, long talks. Anita noticed things others ignored. She noticed how he listened, how he paused before answering, how he watched people quietly. She liked him, and Akpovona liked how she made him feel normal. Still, he did not reveal everything. Not yet. Time passed. Anita started mentioning her friends. Not loudly, not rudely, just casually. Amika's boyfriend did this. Kemi's boyfriend did that. She smiled when she said it. Akpovona smiled too. But inside, something stirred. A memory. Women in his father's compound counting what others had, comparing, resenting. He told himself he was imagining things. He wanted to be wrong. One evening, they sat in her parked car. She talked and talked. Akpovona listened. The engine had been off for a while, but neither of them noticed. Evening light rested gently on the road. People passed at a distance, but inside the car, the world felt closed. Anita was still talking. Amaga's boyfriend just bought her a car, she said, adjusting in her seat. Kimi's own paid her rent for a whole year. She laughed softly. Even Sola's boyfriend surprised her with a housewarming party. She smiled as she spoke. I'm not saying you should do it, she added quickly. I'm just saying, look at them. Akpovona did not turn to her. He looked straight ahead. For a few seconds, there was only silence. Then he spoke. You were comparing me to other men, he said. That means you don't love me for who I am. Anita turned immediately. No, that's not what I meant, she said quickly. You know I love you. I was just talking. She leaned closer, words rushing out. I only said it because we're together, because I believe in you. You know I don't see you like those men. I don't even want what they have. Akpovona reached for the door handle. Why are you opening the door? She asked. He stepped out of the car. The sound of the door closing felt heavier than it should have. Anita froze for half a second. Then she rushed out after him. I'm breaking up with you, he said. The words landed cleanly. No anger, no shouting. Her breath caught. Wait, no, please. She moved closer. I didn't mean it like that. I swear I didn't mean it like that. Her voice shook. She stepped in front of him. I won't ever compare you to anyone again, I promise. Then she dropped to her knees, right there on the road. People slowed their steps. Cars passed. Anita did not care. Please, she said. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. Akpovona stood still. He did not pull her up. He did not walk away. He simply stood there. And for the first time in years, the confidence he carried so carefully cracked, because he did love her, and that made everything worse. That night, Akpovona did not sleep. He replayed the moments again and again. Her words, her tears, her knees touching the ground. He told himself he did the right thing, but his chest did not agree. Days passed, then weeks. Anita called, texted, apologized. He did not block her. He also did not respond. Something inside him had closed, and once it closed, he did not know how to open it again. Back in the village, his father noticed a change. The chief said one evening, You are thinking too much. Love is not a test. Akpovona nodded, but he did not explain. How could he explain that the woman who broke his heart might also be the woman who truly loved him? After Anita, everything felt rushed, not because Akpovona wanted it that way, but because time no longer felt like it belonged to him. His father grew weaker, not loudly, not suddenly, just quietly. The kind of weakness that shows in the way a man sits longer than before, the way his voice rests more than it speaks. You don't know what it means to wait for a son, the chief told him one night. When you finally get one, you fear losing him even when he is standing in front of you. Akpovona listened, but inside, he was tired. Introductions came quickly. Women from respectable homes, women with clean records, women whose families smiled too easily. Each meeting felt the same. Polite greetings, prepared answers, eyes measuring him. Some admired him, some feared him, some wanted what came with him. None felt like peace. One woman praised him too much. You are different, she said. Men like you don't come often. Akpovona smiled politely, but her eyes kept drifting to his wrists, his shoes, his phone. Another woman barely spoke to him. Her mother answered most questions. She is shy, the mother said proudly. Akpovona nodded, but he knew shyness was not the problem. At night, his thoughts returned to Anita, not because she begged, not because she cried, but because she was the only one who spoke to him like a human being, and that frightened him, because he had walked away. The village watched closely. People whispered, The only son has not chosen yet. They say he is too proud. They say city life has changed him. Akpovona heard everything. He ignored most of it, but some words stayed. One evening, alone in his room, Akpovona stood before a mirror, not to admire himself, but to ask a question he had been avoiding. Who am I becoming? He had built houses, bought cars, carried responsibility well, yet love remained the one thing he could not control. When his father called him again, the voice was weaker. "Bring me someone," the old man said. "Let me bless you before I rest." Akpovona agreed, not because he was ready, but because he was afraid of regret. Akpovona did not choose with his heart. He chose with fear. Fear of waiting too long. Fear of disappointing a dying father. Fear of becoming the only son who wasted time. So when Efe entered the picture, everything moved quickly. Too quickly. Efe was calm, soft-spoken, well-mannered. She came from a respected family in a nearby town. Her smile was gentle. Her words were careful. She never compared him to anyone. That alone felt like relief. But relief is not the same as love. Akpovona ignored that difference. Their meetings were smooth. No arguments, no tension, no deep conversations either. Efe agreed easily. If he suggested a place, she accepted. If he spoke, she listened. If he stayed silent, she waited. People praised her. "This one is good," the elder said. "She will not trouble you." Akpovona nodded. But something about that word trouble felt wrong. His father met her and smiled, a tired smile. "This one will bring peace," the old man said. Akpovona held on to those words. Peace. He wanted peace more than passion, more than uncertainty, more than risk. So he said yes. The wedding was not loud, but it was complete. The village celebrated. The chief watched from his chair, satisfied. The only son was no longer alone. Marriage changed things immediately. Not violently, not dramatically, just quietly. Efe respected him, but she did not know him. She cared for him, but she did not challenge him. And Akpovona realized something too late. He had chosen safety over truth. At night, he found himself thinking, not of what he had gained, but of what he had avoided. Anita's voice sometimes returned in his head. Not her tears, her laughter, the way she spoke without rehearsing, the way she disagreed without fear. He pushed the thoughts away. This was his life now. Months passed. Then one morning, the chief did not wake up. The village cried. The only son stood alone. Responsibilities settled on his shoulders fully. He buried his father with respect, with pride, with silence. After the burial, Akpovona felt emptier than he expected, not because his father was gone, but because the reason he rushed everything was gone too, and there was no undoing choices made in haste. Efe tried. She cooked, she cared, she followed tradition, but love cannot be forced into existence. It grows, or it doesn't. Akpovona did not tell anyone how lonely marriage felt. Not his sisters, not his friends, not even himself at first. Loneliness does not arrive suddenly. It enters slowly, like a visitor who never leaves. Ife was not a bad wife. That made everything harder. She woke early, she kept the house clean, she spoke respectfully to elders, she never embarrassed him. But something was missing, and the absence had a weight. Conversations were short. How was your day? Fine. What would you like to eat? Anything. Silence filled the space between words. Akpovona noticed he spoke less at home than anywhere else. At work, he was confident. With friends, he was lively. With strangers, he was charming. At home, he became careful. Eve noticed too. She asked gently one night, "Did I offend you?" Akpovona looked at her and realized the truth was dangerous. "No," he said, and that was the first lie. Months passed. People congratulated him. "You married well. You are lucky." He smiled. Smiles became automatic. Late at night, when Ife slept, Akpovona stayed awake. Thoughts returned uninvited. Not regret. Questions. What if he had waited? What if he had chosen differently? What if peace was not enough? He hated himself for thinking like that, but thoughts do not ask permission. Sometimes he remembered Anita, not the argument, not the tears, but the way she looked at him when she thought he was being stubborn, the way she spoke his name. Those memories felt dangerous, so he buried them under work. Work became everything: meetings, travel, late nights. Ife complained once, "You are always away." He answered calmly, "This is what keeps this house running." She nodded, but disappointment does not always argue. Sometimes it just sits. One evening, Akpovona returned home earlier than usual. He found Ife sitting alone. She was not crying. She was quiet. "Are you okay?" he asked. She hesitated, then spoke carefully. "I don't feel seen." The words stayed in the air. Akpovona had no answer. He realized something painful. He had never learned how to love a woman who did not challenge him. Ife did not push him. She waited, and waiting created distance. That night, Akpovona stood in front of the mirror. He looked at himself, successful, respected, married, and still unsettled. Akpovona learned that silence has a sound. It hums quietly in the background of life. You do not hear it at first, but once you do, you cannot stop. Efe became quieter, not angry, not dramatic, just distant. She still cooked, still greeted him properly, still did everything a good wife was expected to do, but she stopped asking questions, and that frightened Akpovona more than shouting ever could. One morning, she served him breakfast and said calmly, "I'm visiting my mother this weekend." He nodded. "Okay." She waited. He did not ask why. After she left, the house felt larger, too large. Akpovona walked from room to room, touching things that reminded him of Efe without connection. He realized something then. A marriage can survive many things, but not indifference. Work stopped distracting him. Meetings felt empty, achievements felt dull. Success without peace tastes like sand. One evening, his elder sister Omawumi visited. She watched him quietly before speaking. "You are not happy," she said. Akpovona laughed. "Who told you that?" She looked at him the way only family can. "You don't talk with your hands anymore." He said nothing. She continued, "You think avoiding conflict means wisdom, but sometimes silence is cowardice." The words cut, because they were true. That night, Akpovona tried to talk to Efe. He rehearsed sentences in his head, but when she returned from her mother's house, tired and calm, he froze. He asked about her trip instead, and she answered politely, another opportunity lost. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The gap between them widened without noise, like land slowly separating from the sea. Then one afternoon, Akpovona saw Anita, by accident, at a traffic light. She was in a car beside his. They recognized each other at the same time. No smiles, just surprise. The light turned green. She drove off, but something reopened inside him. That night, Akpovona did not sleep. He finally admitted the truth to himself. He did not marry the wrong woman. He married the wrong reason. Akpovona decided to stop running. The decision did not come with courage. It came with exhaustion. You cannot run forever from a truth that lives inside your house. That evening, he came home earlier than usual. Efe noticed immediately. "You're back early," she said. "Yes." One word. Heavy. They ate in silence. The sound of cutlery was too loud. Akpovona cleared his throat. "Efe," he said. She looked up. "Yes?" He hesitated, then spoke slowly, carefully, like a man walking on broken glass. "I think I made a mistake." Her hand froze. "About what?" "About how I entered this marriage." The room changed, not violently, quietly. Efe put her spoon down. "Go on," she said. Her voice was calm. That scared him. "I married because my father was dying," Akpovona said. "Because everyone was watching. Because I was tired of questions." He swallowed. I didn't marry because I understood love. Efe stared at the table. So, she said softly, what does that make me? Akpovona shook his head quickly. No, this is not your fault. You have been good. You have been patient. She laughed once, a dry laugh. Patience again, she said. Everyone praises patience when it benefits them. Silence returned, but it was different now. It was listening. Efe spoke again. Do you love me? The question was simple. The answer was not. Akpovona opened his mouth, closed it, then said the only honest thing he could. I don't know how to. The words fell like glass. Efe nodded slowly. I knew, she said. I felt it. She stood up. I kept waiting for it to grow. I thought maybe if I stayed quiet long enough, you would see me. Her voice cracked for the first time. But you were never looking. Akpovona stood too. I'm trying now. She shook her head. Trying late is still late. That night, Efe packed a small bag. I'm not leaving forever, she said. I just need space to breathe. Akpovona wanted to beg, but he didn't. Begging without change is noise. When the door closed behind her, Akpovona sat alone in the living room. For the first time in his life, he had everything he wanted and nothing he needed. The house changed after Efe left, not because things moved, but because nothing did. Akpovona woke up to silence. No footsteps, no humming from the kitchen, no soft questions about breakfast, just walls and his own breathing. He went to work. He returned. Days repeated themselves like a loop he could not break. Food tasted flat. Sleep came late. Thoughts arrived early. People noticed. You look tired, a colleague said. Akpovona smiled. I'm fine. The lie had become easy. One evening, his father's old driver, Uncle Tega, came to visit. He was an old man now, slow in movement, sharp in eyes. They sat outside. The air was calm. Uncle Tega spoke first. Your father used to say something, he said. He said, a man who was loved but cannot love back will die slowly. Akpovona looked at him. Why are you telling me this? The old man smiled sadly. Because I see you walking that road. That night, Akpovona called Efe. She did not pick. He sent a message. I'm trying to understand myself. No reply. He started remembering things he had ignored. The way Efe waited for him at night. The way she listened without interrupting. The way she defended him to others. He realized something painful. Love had been present. He just did not recognize it because it did not arrive loudly. One afternoon, Akpovona visited his sisters. They welcomed him warmly. Food, laughter, noise. But even there, he felt separate. His youngest sister pulled him aside. You look like someone who lost something important, she said. He nodded. I think I did. On his way home, Akpovona stopped by the roadside. He watched people pass, strangers with problems of their own. He understood something then. Money could buy many things. Time was not one of them. That night, Efe replied, Space is helping me think. Please respect it. He stared at the message for a long time, then put the phone down. Akpovona began to remember things he had buried, not memories he wanted, memories he avoided. They returned slowly, like dust rising from an old floor when you finally decide to sweep. He remembered his father's voice, not the strong voice the village heard, the tired one that came late at night. Being an only son is a burden, his father once said. You don't live for yourself, you live for what people expect. Akpovona had nodded then, too young to argue. Now the words followed him everywhere. One Saturday morning, he drove to the village alone. He had not planned it. His body just knew where it needed to go. The road felt longer than before. The mansion he built for his father stood proudly, too proudly. It felt like a monument to responsibility. The compound was quiet, too quiet. His eldest sister welcomed him. "You came alone," she said carefully. "Yes." She did not ask more. Akpovona walked through the compound. He saw his childhood again. Women tying wrappers, children running barefoot, the sound of pestles pounding yam. This place had shaped him and wounded him. He sat under the old tree where his father used to sit, the same tree where decisions were made for him. Marriage, education, legacy, all spoken before he could choose. An old woman from the village passed by and stopped. "Akpovona," she said slowly, "you have everything your father prayed for." He smiled politely. "But your eyes are heavy." That night, he slept in his childhood room. Sleep came differently there. Dreams arrived uninvited. He saw Efe in his dream. She was standing far away. He called her name. She did not turn. He woke up sweating. The realization hit him clearly for the first time. He did not lose Efe because he was confused. He lost her because he never chose her fully. The next day, he visited his father's grave. He stood there quietly. "I did everything you wanted," he said softly. "I carried the name. I fulfilled the duty." His voice broke. "But I forgot to live." The wind moved through the trees. No answer came, but something inside him shifted. On his way back to the city, Akpovona stopped at a roadside market. He watched couples bargain together, argue, laugh, disagree openly. He realized something painful. Love needs space to breathe. Obedience suffocates it. That night, he sent Efe a message, not to beg, not to explain, just truth. "I was trained to be responsible, not honest. I'm learning late, but I am learning." He did not expect a reply, but hours later, one came. "Learning is good, but I need to see change, not words." Akpovona stared at the screen. For the first time in months, hope did not feel foolish. It felt fragile, and fragile things require care. Change did not arrive with noise. It arrived with discipline. Akpovona did not rush to Efe's house. He did not call her every night. He did not promise anything he was not yet sure he could become. For the first time in his life, he decided to work on himself without an audience. He started with small things. He began to come home earlier, not because someone was waiting, but because he wanted to face the silence instead of escaping it. He cooked his own meals, burned some, laughed at himself when they failed. It felt strange. A man who could negotiate million-naira deals, struggling to cook rice. But the struggle felt honest. He stopped filling his calendar with unnecessary meetings. Some invitations he declined politely, others he ignored. He learned something important during those weeks. Busyness is often a disguise for emptiness. Akpovona also began therapy, not because someone advised him to, but because he finally accepted that intelligence does not equal emotional wisdom. The therapist was calm, soft-spoken, unimpressed with wealth. She asked questions Akpovona had avoided all his life. "What do you feel when someone needs you emotionally?" The answer did not come easily. He spoke about his father, about being watched, about being the only son, about how love always felt conditional. Earn this, do that, be strong, never cry. For the first time, Akpovona said something out loud that shocked him. "I don't know how to ask for help." The therapist nodded. "Because no one taught you it was allowed." Those sessions drained him, but they also opened doors he never knew existed. He began to recognize his patterns: avoidance, control, silence. He saw how they protected him once and how they destroyed intimacy now. Weeks passed. Efe remained distant, but she noticed changes through others. Someone told her he stopped attending certain events. Another mentioned he was quieter, more present. She said nothing. Watching is not the same as forgiving. One afternoon, Akpovona saw Anita again. This time, she noticed him first. She smiled. He nodded. They spoke briefly. surface-level words, nothing dangerous. But when she laughed, Akpovona realized something important. He did not miss her. What he missed was the version of himself who felt alive, and that version was not tied to any woman. That realization freed him. Akpovona began to speak more honestly with his sisters. He apologized for being distant. They were surprised. Some forgave easily, some needed time. Family wounds do not close instantly. One evening, he visited Efe's mother, not to explain, not to justify, just to greet. He knelt respectfully, spoke carefully. "I am learning," he said. "I don't know if I will be forgiven, but I don't want to hide anymore." The woman studied him, then said, "Learning is good, but humility must walk with it." Days later, Efe called, just once. "Can we talk?" she asked. Akpovona's heart raced. "Yes," he said calmly. They met in a quiet place. No drama, no accusations, just honesty. Efe spoke first. "I loved you," she said. "I still might, but I won't beg to be chosen." Akpovona nodded. "I don't want you to beg. I want to choose you freely, or let you go respectfully." Silence followed, but it was different now. It was safe. When they parted that day, nothing was decided, but something was healed. That night, Akpovona stood in front of the mirror again. Not the same mirror as before. This time, he did not look for success. He looked for truth. And for the first time in his life, the man staring back did not feel like a role. He felt real. Whether Efe would return or not, Akpovona knew something had changed permanently. He was no longer living as the only son. He was learning how to be a whole man. Waiting tested Akpovona more than struggle ever did. When life was hard, he knew what to do. Work harder, think faster, move on. But waiting had no instructions. After the conversation with Efe, nothing changed on the surface. She did not return. She did not call again. She did not block him either. She simply existed, somewhere else. And that uncertainty forced Akpovona to sit with himself. He stopped measuring days by achievement. Instead, he measured them by awareness. How quickly he became defensive, how easily he wanted to explain instead of listen, how often silence tempted him to hide again. He caught himself many times, and each time, he stopped. One evening, his youngest sister visited. She looked around his house and smiled. "It feels different," she said. "Good or bad?" he asked. "Honest," she replied. That word stayed with him. Akpovona began doing something new. He wrote. Not emails, not plans, letters he never sent. To his father, to his mother, whom he never knew, to himself at 20, to the man he became too quickly. Writing did not fix him, but it slowed him down. He wrote one letter to Efe. He did not send it, but it mattered. "I used to think love was something you earn after success. I now see that success without love is empty. I don't know if I deserve another chance, but I know I'm no longer hiding from who I am." He folded the paper and kept it in a drawer. Some truths need time before they are spoken. Work tried to pull him back into old habits. A new project, more money, more praise. He noticed the temptation immediately. This time, he set boundaries. He left meetings early. He said no when he felt drained. He listened to his body. People noticed. Some respected it, some didn't. He didn't care. One afternoon, Akpovona visited his sisters again. They talked about marriage, about pressure, about expectations placed on daughters, about what it meant to grow up under a man desperate for a son. Akpovona listened. For once, he did not defend his father. He simply understood. That night, Efe sent a message. Not long, not emotional. "I see effort. I just don't know yet if it will last." Akpovona read it slowly, then replied honestly. "I don't want to convince you. I want to become consistent, even if you're not watching." No response came, and strangely, that was okay. Days turned into weeks, weeks into quiet growth. Akpovona learned that love does not rush, it observes. One Sunday morning, Akpovona attended a wedding. He almost didn't go. Weddings used to make him uncomfortable, but this one felt different. The couple laughed easily, spoke openly, teased each other in public. No fear, no performance. Akpovona felt something twist in his chest. Not jealousy, clarity. On his way home, he stopped the car. He sat there for a long time, and for the first time, he said something out loud. I am ready now. Not for marriage, not for FA, for truth. That night, he sent one final message, not begging, not dramatic, just clear. If you decide to come back, I will meet you as a man who is still learning, but no longer hiding. If you don't, I will still continue becoming that man. He put the phone down and waited, not for a response, but for whatever came next. Because for the first time in his life, Akpovona understood something deeply. Waiting is not weakness. Waiting is preparation. And whatever the outcome would be, he was finally ready to face it without fear. The call came on a Tuesday morning. Akpovona was not expecting it. He was in the kitchen, stirring tea he had already forgotten to drink, when his phone vibrated on the counter. He looked at the screen once, then twice. FA. For a moment, he did nothing. Not because he did not want to answer, but because he wanted to answer as the right man. He breathed in, then out, and picked the call. Hello, he said. Her voice came softly. Good morning. Good morning. Silence followed. Not the awkward silence of strangers, the careful silence of people who once mattered deeply. I'm in town, Fa said. Akpovona's hand tightened around the phone. Okay. I thought we could talk, she continued. Not to argue, just to be honest. Yes, he said quickly. Yes, we should. They agreed to meet later that afternoon. After the call ended, Akpovona stood still for a long time. His heart was calm. That surprised him. Months ago, this call would have thrown him into confusion, fear, hope mixed with panic. Now he felt present. When he arrived at the cafe, Fa was already there. She looked the same, and different. Same eyes, same posture, but something in her face had softened. They greeted each other politely and sat down. I've been watching you, Fa said. Akpovona nodded. I assumed so. She smiled slightly. I didn't want to interfere with your process. That was wise, he replied. She stirred her drink slowly. I left because I felt invisible, she said. I didn't want to fight for attention in my own marriage. Akpovona listened. No interruptions, no defense. Just listening. I needed to know, she continued, that if I came back, it wouldn't be because you were afraid of losing me, but because you actually chose me. Akpovona looked at her carefully. I won't promise perfection, he said, but I can promise presence. I won't disappear into silence again. Fa studied his face. Why now? She asked. Akpovona answered honestly. Because I finally stopped living as the only son and started living as a man. The words landed between them. Heavy, true. She nodded slowly. I'm not coming back today, she said. Akpovona did not flinch. I understand. But I wanted to see if the change was real. She stood up. And it is. Before she left, she turned. One more thing, she said. If we try again, we rebuild everything. No assumptions, no roles, no silence. Akpovona stood too. I want that. When she walked away, Akpovona did not chase her. He did not feel abandoned. He felt steady. That evening, he returned home and sat alone, but the loneliness felt different. It no longer accused him. It waited with him. Akpovona looked around the house, the same walls, the same furniture, but he felt changed inside them. He realized something then. Love does not return all at once. It returns in steps, in trust, in patience. He went to bed that night with no answers, but with something better, direction. And somewhere in the quiet of that night, Akpovona understood the truth his father never did. Being the only son taught him how to carry weight, but learning to love taught him how to put it down. The days after their meeting felt slower. Not empty, just deliberate. Akpovona noticed the difference immediately. He no longer woke up checking his phone first. He no longer replayed conversations in his head until they lost meaning. Instead, he paid attention to how he spoke, to how he listened, to how quickly old habits tried to return. Ife did not call, and Akpovona did not panic. That was new. He returned to routines that grounded him. Morning walks, simple meals, short prayers that were honest instead of impressive. He stopped asking God for outcomes. He asked for clarity. One afternoon, his eldest sister invited him over. She watched him quietly, then said, "You're different." He smiled. "I stopped trying to impress ghosts." She nodded. "You sound like someone who finally forgave his father." The words hit him unexpectedly because they were true. Akpovona realized something important. He had blamed his father for many things: pressure, expectations, the fear of failure. But he had also copied him: the silence, the distance, the belief that provision was enough. Recognizing that truth hurt, but it also freed him. That night, he dreamed of his father again. This time, the man said nothing. He just watched. And for the first time, Akpovona did not feel judged. A week later, Ife sent a message. "Can we meet again?" Akpovona read it once, then replied calmly, "Yes, when you're ready." They met in the evening. This time they walked instead of sitting. Movement felt safer. "I've been thinking," Ife said, "about us, about myself." Akpovona listened. "I also learned something," she continued. "I stayed quiet for too long. I thought patience meant endurance." She stopped walking. "It doesn't." Akpovona nodded. "I agreed." They spoke openly, not about love first, about boundaries, about fear, about the cost of pretending. "I don't want a man who chooses me out of obligation," Ife said. "I want to be chosen daily." Akpovona answered without hesitation. "Then I must be present daily." Not dramatic, just clear. They did not decide everything that night. They did not need to. The decision had already been made quietly. They would try again, slowly, honestly. When Ife left, Akpovona did something he had never done before. He smiled to himself, not out of relief, out of recognition. That night, he stood at the window and looked at the city. Lights everywhere, lives unfolding. And he understood something deeply. Love is not found, it is built. With courage, with presence, with the willingness to stay uncomfortable. Akpovona no longer feared choosing, because now he knew what choice meant. It meant responsibility without performance, commitment without control. It meant showing up even when silence tempted him to disappear. As he turned off the lights and prepared for sleep, one thought stayed with him. Being the only son taught him how to carry a name, but choosing love taught him how to live beyond it. And for the first time in his life, that felt like enough. Akpovona did not rush the next step. That was the first sign that he had truly changed. Before, when he decided something, he moved fast. Marriage, business, commitments. Speed had always been his way of staying in control. Now, he chose patience. Not the silence that hides, but the patience that listens. Efe began visiting again. Not often, not suddenly, just enough. She would come in the evening sometimes, sit, talk, leave before night. There were no assumptions, no "you should have known." Everything was spoken. One evening, she asked him something unexpected. "Do you know who you are when nobody needs anything from you?" Akpovona thought about it. "I'm learning," he said. She smiled. "That's the first honest answer you've given me." They talked about ordinary things: work stress, family drama, childhood fears. Akpovona noticed something new. He laughed more, real laughter, the kind that comes from safety. One Saturday, they cooked together. It was messy. Rice burnt, salt spilled. They laughed like children. Akpovona watched her move around the kitchen and felt something settle inside him. Not excitement, belonging. That night, after she left, he sat alone again, but this time the silence did not accuse him. It rested. He began to live differently in other areas too. He stopped chasing validation through achievement. He still worked hard, but he rested without guilt. His sisters noticed the change. "You're lighter," one of them said. He nodded. "I stopped carrying what was never mine." Akpovona visited the village again. This time, he did not go to prove anything. He greeted elders, sat with children, listened to stories. One old man said, "You finally look like your mother." Akpovona smiled quietly. That night, he sat outside and remembered the stories told about his birth, the fear, the jealousy, the attempts on his life. He understood something then. Survival does not always make you strong. Sometimes it makes you guarded, and guards build walls. Efe asked one night, "Are you afraid I'll leave again?" Akpovona answered honestly, "Yes." She nodded. "Me too." They shared the fear, and somehow it lost its power. Weeks passed. No drama, no sudden promises, just consistency. One evening, Akpovona said something he had never said before. "I want to build a life with you, not because I'm supposed to, but because I choose to." Efe did not respond immediately. She watched him carefully. Then she said, "Then we take it one day at a time." He smiled. "That's enough." That night, Akpovona lay in bed thinking about his life, the only son, the burden, the expectations, and then the man. For the first time, those two versions no longer fought inside him. They stood together. He understood something clearly. Healing does not erase your past. It teaches you how to carry it gently. As sleep finally came, Akpovona felt something he had chased all his life without knowing its name. Peace. Not the kind that avoids conflict, the kind that survives it. And in that peace, Akpovona began to live, not as a title, not as a responsibility, but as himself. The village gathered again under the old tree. Not for a burial, not for a crisis, but for a quiet celebration. Akpovona arrived without announcement. No convoy, no performance, just himself. People noticed immediately, not because of what he wore, but because of how he moved. He was lighter. Efe walked beside him. Not behind, not ahead, beside. The elders watched closely. They had seen many things in their lives. They had seen power. They had seen pride. But this was different. One of the elders cleared his throat. "You are the only son," he said. "You carry many names." Akpovona bowed respectfully. "Yes." The elder continued. "Today, which one do you carry?" Akpovona paused, then answered slowly, "I carry my own." A murmur passed through the crowd. His sisters stood nearby. They looked at him with something new in their eyes. Not expectation, respect. That evening, Akpovona returned to the house he once filled with silence. It no longer felt like a monument. It felt like a home. Efe moved freely inside it. She laughed without checking his face first. She spoke without fear of breaking him. And Akpovona listened, really listened. Later that night, they sat outside together. The air was cool. Stars scattered across the sky. Efe spoke softly. "Do you regret anything?" Akpovona thought carefully. "I regret rushing," he said. "I regret being silent when I should have spoken." He looked at her. "But I don't regret the journey." She nodded. "Neither do I." Akpovona realized something then. His father had wanted a son to carry his name. The village wanted an heir. The world wanted a man who never failed. But no one had asked him what he wanted, until now. He reached for Efe's hand. She did not hesitate. And in that small gesture, something ancient broke. The curse of expectation, the fear of inadequacy, the loneliness of being chosen instead of choosing. Akpovona stood and walked to the edge of the compound. He looked at the land his father ruled, at the house he built, at the life he survived. He whispered quietly, not to anyone in particular, "I am no longer just the only son." He turned back to Efe. "I am a man who chose love." Years later, people would still tell his story. They would talk about the chief who finally had a son, about the wealth, about the success. But those who truly knew him told a different story. They said the greatest thing Akpovona ever did was not surviving jealousy, or carrying legacy, or building houses. They said his greatest victory was learning how to love without fear.
Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more